What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Quick Review Wednesday. It's actually Wednesday this time. Yeah, back-to-back weeks, back-to-back Daiwa reels. Guys, I purchased this reel a little while ago for frog fishing. Now, when I purchased it, I did not know that I was getting the old model. Now, what do I mean by old model? Right now, the Daiwa Tatula TW comes in two different styles. You can either get the 103 or just the Daiwa SV. So I was doing a bunch of research, and online they'll have the reel that I have marked as the 103. It is oftentimes not the 103. It is just the Tatula SV. Here is the biggest distinguisher. If you see a red, a yellow, or a purple Magforce knob, that is just the SV. That is not the 103. The 103, the best way to distinguish the 103 from this reel is right here. That knob has the Tatula spider right on it. That is the best way to know. It's also like a black, not like this shiny thing. It's also way smaller. So I got this reel at Bass Pro Shops. The kid convinced me at Bass Pro Shops that this was the reel for me. I wanted a reel for frog fishing, and I like high speed gear ratio for frog fishing so that when the fish bites the frog, I can pick up the slack quick. It's also great to have when you are flipping and pitching stuff like this. You know, creature baits, jigs, things of that nature. If the fish knocks slack into your line and you need to pick that line up quick, it is nice to have a high speed gear ratio. In this, I went with the 8-to-1. It's the 8-to-1 gear ratio on this bad boy. Now, am I pissed that the kid at Bass Pro Shops didn't tell me that this was the 2017 reel and not the 2020 reel? The answer to that question is no. I'm not upset at all. In fact, I'm actually glad that I got this reel and not the newer reel. When you are out there reel shopping, if you're looking for a reel for, you know, an application like frog fishing or fishing with, you know, this is a heavy rod. The rod we have this paired up with is a 7.3 heavy fast. And what I have this set up for mostly is frog fishing with 65-pound braided line, or 50-pound. I'll go down to 50 pounds sometimes, but I'm fishing thick stuff, and I can also take that, throw a 20-pound leader on, and use creature baits. And now the Tatula SV, the drag system on this is fantastic. Tournament grade star drag on this, and this drag system applies 13 pounds of drag. The drag system on the Tatula SV 103 only goes up to 11 pounds of drag, and that's a 2-pound difference. That's actually a decent amount, guys. So I am definitely pumped that I went with the beefier reel without even knowing it. I went with the beefier reel with a better drag system. How has this thing been working for me? Well, it's been working great. I've caught a couple really good fish on it, and I'm really pumped with it. In fact, I love the way it looks. I absolutely love the purple accents. I love the Magforce. Guys, if you did not see last week's video talking about the Daiwa Lexa that we just got, that one also has the Magforce. It also goes up to 20, and it is a excellent system for you to be able to dial in just a little bit more. Now, one of the other differences between the SV and the SV 103 is going to be this little knob right here. On the new one, on the 2020, it is set up very similar to Shimano's DC reels in the fact that you literally tighten this knob until you have just a touch of play in the spool, and then you don't have to touch it again. The only thing you have to do on that, which you don't have to do in the DC reels, is adjust your magnetic drag system after that. This one on here is just your normal tension knob. Okay, star drag is here. The reel handle here, not bad. I've used it all day quite a few times now, and I enjoy it. Do I want to upgrade the handle? Probably. I watched a video that Oklahoma's Worst Angler came out with, actually talking about the difference between this reel and the other reel, and he actually replaced the handle on his, and it looks really nice. I might do the exact same thing, copy his ass, because he's the man. And he did, he actually has the 8-to-1, so he has the purple one as well, so he went with like a purplish handle. So good, it looks great, actually. It looks fantastic. But we use this reel for totally different things. Now, the cool thing about this reel is the SV spool. Now, the SV spool is going to give you a ton of castability when you are throwing lighter lures. So I can actually take the 65-pound braid off of this thing and put some really light line on here and use some, really small lures for a bait caster and actually be able to cast them a decent distance. That is one of the issues with bait casters these days, and a lot of these bait casters, a lot of these companies are coming out with BFS systems, which are bait finesse systems, allowing you to throw extremely small lures. If you know our buddy Jimmy Lee from Raw Fishing, he loves that stuff. He'll throw little tiny, like 4-gram frogs and stuff like that, and you can actually do that on this reel. Use lighter line, and if you spool it less, it'll actually work better as well when you're throwing stuff that small. So that's something that is really cool about this. Guys, if you didn't see the other video on the Lexa, this also has the T-wing here, allowing for maximum castability, and this thing does freaking chuck baits. Like, I can throw a frog a country mile with this thing, and that is because when I click the spool open, this goes down and you are left with this wide gap for the line to fly out, giving you less tension on the line as you're casting, allowing that bait to fly. When you click this back up, you're left with a normal size hole to spool the line back up on the reel. So I've fished some super sloppy stuff with this setup right here. I've pulled a couple big bass out of some really grimy stuff, and I gotta say that this thing handles like a dream. I'm super stoked I went with this reel. I do believe that the new Tatula SV 103 and this one here is the exact same price. When you are looking online, you have to be careful, because it's a mess. These companies are a mess everywhere I look. So it's all over. All the big places too. They all have it messed up. But if you look on the Daiwa website here, you can see that there is the difference. One is the 103, one is just the SV, and you can see that there is these big differences between the two. The 103 is so much smaller. This one is, I believe, 7 I believe this one's like 7.2 ounces, and the other one's like 6 point something, 6.7 or something like that. That's a big difference in just the weight alone. You know, and the drag system, like I said, that is the biggest thing. I know my buddy Oklahoma's Worst over there was talking about how this reel here is more of the Power Fisherman's reel. Okay, and the newer one, the latest model, that is going to be more your finesse style reel. So if you're wanting to go out and throw the lighter lures and really dial that kind of stuff in, you probably want to go with the new reel. And if you want to use this thing for frogging, flipping, and all that kind of good stuff, you know, you might want to get the 2017 version of this beautiful, beautiful piece of work. This puppy has 8 bearings in total, 7 plus 1. 2, I believe, are corrosion resistant bearings, which is going to just keep this thing lasting even longer. And keep in mind that SV spool that is in here gives this reel so much more versatility than, say, just the regular 100 style reel. But the 100 might give you a touch further of a cast if you are throwing bigger, heavier lures. This one's obviously going to give you a much better cast when you're throwing lighter stuff. So in my opinion, this one's more versatile, and it's gonna have those long casts as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you've used this reel, what your thoughts on it are. Your opinions, love to hear them. And we will catch you on the next one. Fish on!
Wonder if all my bad decisions get accounted in the algorithms. No statistician could dissuade me from my bigger vision. I know my occupation's quite an unlikely place in this world to occupy and talk about upon a daily basis. Our information's predetermined by some biased business. We all in sermon to silicon that push out lovely neighbors. I'm done with paper chasing, think I'm on to bigger banquets. This that full circle, new wave, energy on a Tuesday.